The Amazon of Danville, Virginia. That's how one city council member describes the idea of a new casino resort.
If approved and built, it could bring nearly 7,000 jobs with an average salary of $46,000. WFMY News 2's Tahisha Moyes has more on the economic impact it could have.
We felt that we owed it to the people of Danville to give them the opportunity to decide if they want to support this.
All right.
On Thursday, Danville City Council unanimously approved a resolution that would allow a casino resort in Danville.
This is the most significant economic development opportunity that Danville's seen in my lifetime.
If a casino were to be built, Vice Mayor Lee Vogler says it could bring nearly 7,000 jobs and pump more than $1 billion into the local economy over the next 10 years. Councilman James Buckner says a casino would also benefit surrounding cities, potentially impacting a lot of people across the border in North Carolina.
We don't have 7,000 people unemployed in Danville, so it would certainly be a draw to our community.
Vice Mayor Vogler believes a casino could help rebuild Danville's economy.
I don't think it's any secret that the first decade of the 21st century was tough for Danville. You know, we lost textile and tobacco, and then the national recession on top of that.
People we talked to are for the idea.
It's definitely like a big push as far as like entertainment. Definitely make a big impact on the community.
I think that it could be something that really does help Danville be put on the map.
And although casinos are for adults, kids would benefit as well.
Most of our schools were built in the 1950s and 60s and have only had, minor improvements in the time since. This project gives us the revenue to be able to rebuild those schools, to be able to have a new police station, to be able to do the things that we need to do in our community.
And here's something the adults would enjoy.
If this passes, taxes would probably go down, if I had to guess.
Right now, the casino resort proposal hinges on the approval of the General Assembly that meets in Richmond next week. A decision could come down as late as the end of February. If approved on the state level, Danville voters would have the final say.